vest. You didn't want anything to get snagged on the rubble. My first step on the pile sent adrenaline through me in a hot rush. A slab of concrete slid under my feet, exposing a black void. My father had died in a hole like that on 9/11. I shook off my gut reaction and pushed forward, determined not to let my search partner down. I climbed up the pile, and just then, Luke began barking nonstop. I shot my hand in the air to signal he had found someone. "All right," Buzz called out. "Good job. There's a victim in a tunnel a foot below him." "Good dog, good dog." I gave Luke his yummy reward, and we climbed down. "You beat the best time of our dogs," Buzz teased. "Don't ever do that again. It's demoralizing." I grinned at him, proud of my dog. I was thinking about that experience 3 weeks later, as I brushed out my dog in the tiny backyard of the townhouse where I lived with my husband, Scott Cooper. Scott, an FBI agent, had recently been cleared for regular duty after being shot last year. He had fought hard to regain his strength and fitness while doing desk work at home, studying for his second master's degree, and completing the personal counseling mandated by the Office of Professional Responsibility. Although Scott's focus on recovery had set back our plans to move to a house with more yard, seeing the look in his eye when he slipped his holster on his belt that first day going back to the office made it all worthwhile. I'd come so close to losing him. "America is safe once more," I said, teasing him as I tucked his suit coat around his gun and said goodbye that morning. He cradled my face in his hands and kissed me tenderly. "I'm praying I never have to use it again." He hugged me. "Thank you for all you've done. I'll miss working from home." "Well, unless you plan to spend your time arresting me and Luke, I think you better get back out in the world." "I might take on Luke," he responded. "But you? No way. You're too tough." Then he kissed me again. I smiled as I thought about that sweet moment. I loved that man. I finished brushing Luke and patted him on the side. "Okay, buddy, you're done." He shook, as if he had to fix his hair now that I'd messed it up. Then I saw his shoulder dip. "Oh, no, you don't," I said, grabbing his collar. I knew what he was going to do. Roll, preferably in dirt, ideally in something stinky. "Come on, let's go." As we started to go inside, my watch signaled a text, a call-out. I quickened my step and jerked open the door. I grabbed my phone off the kitchen counter so I could see the details more clearly. Battlefield SAR had been tapped to assist with a building collapse. Wow, I thought, a first. "You want to go?" I asked Luke. He went crazy, spinning and grinning and galloping toward the door. I texted back that Luke and I would respond, ETA 40 minutes. We loaded up in record time. I checked my weather app. Cloudy, high of 70, chance of afternoon rain. Then I headed out. I imagined what might be ahead. There are a lot of reasons why a building can collapse. Earthquake, tornado, hurricane. I could rule all that out. Then there were gas leaks, structural problems, fire, or explosion of unknown origin. There'd also been a rash of incidents in the news in which an out-of-control vehicle slammed into a building and caused a partial collapse. Whatever the reason, if people were trapped, I wanted to help. Although I'd trained for it, I'd never worked this kind of situation. I drove through streets full of April gardens lush with flowering azaleas and trees sporting bright green new leaves. When I got to the scene, it was worse than I had imagined. The collapse was in a low-rise office park, now glutted with fire trucks, ambulances, and police cars, all with their lights flashing and radios blaring. Smoke still billowed up from one part of the building. Bricks had been flung everywhere. Dust hung in the air along with an acrid smell. The firefighters wore protective masks. Most of the building lay in a heap of concrete, framing, glass, and debris. One section of the wall still stood. I parked where I was directed and stepped out into the chaos. The temperature had just hit 65 degrees, so I could afford to leave Luke in the Jeep for a while. I opened the back gate to give him some air. Then I craned my neck, found Tom, the incident commander,